Hi Jonathan, my name's Mike Hingley. I mailed you earlier about my Ubuntu ebook template project. I thought I'd send you a quick YouTube video so you can see what I've been working on. My PC that I'm running this on is really slow, so at points during this presentation I'm going to pause recording because recording really impacts on the speed of my system. So there'll be times when you might see the clock jump forward a bit, but it isn't that slow when you're not recording. I'm recording a full screen here, so it's slower than usual. It's probably best if I just jump straight into what I've been working on. So what I'm going to do in this demonstration is create an ebook, and then edit the ebook, add some metadata and some tables of contents and some chapters, and then publish it to an EPUB file. The same publishing mechanism I'm currently working on building things like audiobooks, so that can be extended to build not just EPUBs but PDFs, for example, or open document format, or LibreOffice documents, that kind of thing. So I'll crack on and we'll demonstrate the project. So I'm going to create an ebook called HPR. And that's created an ebook for me. It's also set up a bizarre repository for me, so if I move into my HPR project I can do bzr log, and I've got my repository there saying that it's one version, it's just the initial project creation. I'm going to quickly rebuild content and rebuild the table of contents. There's a slight bug where my creation script should run those two steps, otherwise the table of contents has invalid entries in them. And what you can do is you can do all of this sort of adding chapters if you want to via the command line. So you can do stuff like set metadata, set title, all the rest of it. So let's actually set the title. So let's set. You can also do this through the web interface, but I started off with command line and now I'm starting to put a web interface onto it. So quickly, not that quickly. And we can do things like quickly list metadata, and we can see that we've set the title to HPR test book. So I'll just fire up the web editor and we can see what's going on. This is going to take some time, so I'm going to pause this now. Okay, so it's brought up a little Ubuntu ebook editor GUI, and it's a web page system that allows you to dynamically load content in. So if I want to look at chapter 1, click on chapter 1 and it will load it in, and we can see this is my chapter 1. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to change this text so we can see it's working, and type in this is chapter 1 of the, or even chapter 1. HPR test textbook. Yeah, I can't type. There we go. I'm going to click on save, and that's saved successfully. So if I click on chapter 2 to load something else up, it's got an image in this one. So I've got an embedded image, and if I go back to chapter 1, you can see this is chapter 1 of the HPR test textbook. If we look at metadata, the HPR test book is there. Slight bug on the description. I know it's there. So there's some issues there, but we can set the description. So I can say this is the description. I'm going to make author be me. I'm going to set the publisher to my website. And I'm going to save those changes. So what I can do now is I can publish my ebook. It's only got 2 chapters. Let's add a chapter. So I'm going to add a chapter in. Okay, I would add a chapter in, but that seems to have errored. Let's publish it. Right. So that's publish my book. If I look at the folder, right, so book.epub, that was just created. I can load that up in FB Reader, although I've found it not to be a very good reader. I think the Calibre one's slightly better. So chapter 1, this is the chapter 1 of the HPR test textbook. Chapter 2, same image in there and stuff. So that's kind of cool. I wonder if I've got Calibre installed. I can't remember if I've installed Calibre on this machine. I say this machine, my machine. Yep. So I'll just launch Calibre. Again, this is slow because my PC's really not powerful enough for this. So I'm going to add a book, and I'm going to navigate to the book I've just done, which is this one. Again, that's the recently used one, and it'll add it in. And you can see it's got HPR text, HPR test book as a title. It was done today. We've got any other metadata on there? Publisher is publisher. Let's view. Oh, we've got the book here. This sample thing here, this example page, my template was designed originally with the idea of publishing all of the classics. So I was going to publish like lots of Dickens and Shakespeare and all the rest of it as a set of Ubuntu books, because they're all public domain. So and Sherlock Holmes as well. It's one of the books that got me started. This was Sherlock Holmes. So you can see I've got my title page. Chapter 1. Yeah, so the chapters are in a weird order, but I believe that's just down to the way I've built my table of contents. So I feel fairly happy that I'll be able to sort it. If you look, it's actually in reverse order, so I've just done them the wrong way around. So you can see it actually looks quite nice in the Calibre viewer. Is there a table of contents on this thing? Yeah. So you can actually, it becomes really obvious when you see it. So here's my chapter 3, chapter 2, chapter 1. So theoretically, once I get the order the right way around and not back to front, the table of contents will be the right way around and not back to front. Let me just shut this down, and I will switch to my console, and I'm just going to add a chapter via the command line, so you can see that you can add one in. So I've now got a chapter 4 in there. Again, this is going to take a while. I'm just going to pause this briefly. And you can see I've got this chapter 4 here, and chapter 4 is just a standard sort of congratulations, you've added a chapter, now get down to writing. So chapter 4. Where's my cursor? There it is. Chapter 4. Now, all these chapters have got properties. They've got document properties. So if we look at the document properties for this, it will say chapter X. And replace that with chapter 4. There's no reason why it has to be chapter 4. You can call it whatever you want. The title or whatever you type here will be used as the header for the table of contents. So there's a routine I've got which will preferably pull out the title if you've got it. Will optionally, if you can't find the title, pull out the first H headed line it finds and use that as a chapter title. So chapter 4. I'm going to save that. Just check my document properties, still got it in. Chapter 4. So if I publish my ebook now, I get another one called book1.epub. I'll show that in folder. There we go. Hopefully you can see it's got a sort of suitable time, and it's a little bit bigger than the original one, so it's like 0.5k, 500 bytes or so bigger. So I'll launch that with e-reader again, just to show you it's got all the content in. So here's our chapter 4 that we added. This is chapter 4. So how do you handle things like images like we did in chapter 2, and how would you handle things like MIDI files or playback for media? Well, I've added this this option to allow you to add an image. The image will show you by default any image that's currently used in the ebook, or you can drag stuff onto this section here to add an image. So I'm going to actually drag this thumbs up from Facebook, I think it is. I'll just go through and just pick that up now, because that's now part of the image gallery. I can pick that up, use it, and add it into my image, into my chapter. I now have a chapter 4 which I can drag around and do all kinds of good things with. So an image I added to the book. Click save and publish again. I get a book2.epub. I can open that. It's actually going to launch it in LeafPad. Brilliant. There's my book 2. Open that with ebook reader. chapter 4, and there's my image I just added straight in there. And if it's an image that I'm using a lot, like a musical stave or some sort of reference image, then I can obviously use that from any chapter, so I can get to chapter 2 if I wanted to. A little bit slow because it's recording the whole desktop again. And anywhere in here I can add an image and choose my thumbs up image, hit save. So now that image will be used in 2 places. I'm back at the command prompt just to prove you can publish from here as well, so you can quickly publish, and if you look here, it's created a hpr.epub file, which I can use FB Reader for again. And that will show us my plus sign I've just added to it. We can also do cool things like, this is still very much a thing I'm working on, so this may not work. I've not actually tried this in a while, so let's see what happens. Quickly, is it read? So what it's doing now is it's reading each chapter to a WAV file using festival text to speech. The idea being that once you've got your WAV files, you can then stitch them together to form an MP4 file with chapter markers, or combine them all together to produce a big long OGG file that people can use. Yeah, so so there is a slight issue with that. Let's see what we actually got out of this. Nothing. But hopefully you can see we were creating the audio files for it all, and attempting to stitch them together to produce a single file. Yeah, it looks like my chapter markers. I use a text-based chapter format so that I can use some of the built-in utilities of Ubuntu to actually create chapter markers in my MP4 file. I'll just quickly show you what it looks like when you take a book and publish it on Launchpad. So I've taken a book here and I've built it onto Launchpad. The point being that anybody could add my PPA and then install my test book, and if I publish any updates to it, they'll get pushed out to them automatically. So if you've got students, for example, you get them to subscribe to your PPA. When you update your own book, be it the workbook or the textbook, you push an update out and everybody who subscribed to it will get that update appear on their machine. We should be able to have a look at the package details for this and see what's in there. So this deb file, if you were to run that, would actually go ahead and install it. So I'm just going to quickly download that, and I'm going to show that in folder. So test 23 or 2, looks like I've downloaded that before. Test 23 or 2. I can open that with Ubuntu Software Center. And I can also open that with Archive Manager because it's just a compressed file. Let's see which one comes back first. Okay, so the decompress tool has come back first. So when this installs, it will pop into /user/share/books, the EPUB file it's generated. It's built that using the build process, and it also should have, he says, a bunch of scripts that will run in the post installation, which will copy it into your documents folder, so it will be referenced one place but you have a link to it. Right, so this all this text here is just something I copied from Amazon, actually, about a review for Stephen King's work. I just wanted to see what it would look like when it was actually deployed. So that's where I've got to with the project. Obviously there's still a few bugs in it, it's not 100%, but I'd be certainly interested in adding music support. That might be interesting. The ability to upload, say, a MIDI file and then have it play appropriately based on whatever browser or viewer you're using. That could be quite interesting. I don't imagine that would work on a Kindle very well. Maybe it would. Might work on a Kindle Fire better. But there you go. So that's where I'm up to. This video has gone on far too long. It's going to take an absolute age to compress it, particularly on this machine. So I'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye bye.